In November 2020, I made a video explaining why I choose to live in Morocco. You can watch the video from this link here. It's one of my most popular videos. People in Morocco want to understand why I choose to live here rather than the UK. Why Morocco is one of a pair of matching questions. The other question is equally important. Why not the UK? What is it about my home country that I find so displeasing that I would rather set up home in another country? Moroccans, many of whom want to leave Morocco, some even preferring to live in the UK, don't understand why I don't want to live there. The reason is often difficult to articulate. In previous videos, I have spoken about how Moroccans are more free than people in the UK. It's a fact not easily believed in Morocco, but it is true. Recently, a video was uploaded to YouTube that, for me, epitomizes exactly why I left the UK and why I don't want to move back there to live. It's a short video about a teenage girl trying to get home in the late evening. She arrives at the bus stop seconds after the bus had started to pull away. The driver refuses to let her on the bus, so she stands in front of it, blocking it.
Can you let me on the bus? I need to get home. Why? Just open the door.
Eventually, the police come, and this is what happens next.
He won't let me on the bus.
Right, okay, and where are you going back to?
I don't know, but he won't let me on.
Why not?
I don't know. I just missed it by a second, so I ran up and he won't let me on.
I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, but you just...
Because it's health and safety.
No, it's not. Just let me on.
As an adult, as far as we're concerned, and I am late.
I'm 50.
How old are you, darling?
50.
Right, I'll give you a lift. I think that's a bit...
I'm just doing my
I know,
job.
but I think there's nothing around you.
Just
I'm
as
stood
your-
there, you could have got on the bus.
Just as your job is to follow instructions.
I know,
so is
but
mine.
I think she's
sorry.
a 15-year-old girl.
Sorry.
Despite the policewoman's insistence, the driver stubbornly refuses to let the girl on the bus. I have lost count of the number of times bus drivers in Morocco have let people on their bus at traffic lights, junctions, or even when the traffic was moving so slowly, the driver reasoned he could let the passenger board the bus safely. In Morocco, we all do what we can to help others because we all understand that we want to get home quickly and safely. And by doing what we can for others, we know it's going to encourage other people to do what they can for us. It's called humanity. In the UK, all too often, humanity is lost to rules and regulations, mindlessly adhered to, with almost no thought as to why those rules exist, and certainly no freedom as to how they should be interpreted. In this case, health and safety rules of the bus company demand no passenger is allowed on the bus when it has moved away from the stop. Moved away could be just a few centimeters. That is how mindlessly and how ridiculously these rules are enforced. The health and safety of the teenage girl means nothing. The rules must be obeyed. The freedom to think for oneself is forbidden. We are all imprisoned by the rules and the regulations. When I lived in the UK, I found this obedience made me feel spiritually claustrophobic. My intelligence, my reasoning, my personality felt like a dog on a leash. I was forever pulling forward, trying to break free. In others, I found this eagerness to comply to be embarrassing and annoying. In the UK, I battled against this mentality all the bloody time. In Morocco, the fight is delightfully rare. And that's because here in Morocco, people support people. In the comments section of the video, the girl is criticised. She should have been at the stop earlier. She shouldn't have been out so late, even though it was only 9:30 p.m. She shouldn't have been on her own. I'm not surprised by these comments. Equally, I'm not fooled by the majority of people who condemn the bus driver. How many of them have complied with and enforced stupid rules? How many will continue to sacrifice common decency so as to not suddenly find themselves unemployed? I'm sure at times the bus driver will have been critical of others who were just doing their job. We call these people jobsworths because they believe it is more than their job is worth to actually put kindness before mindlessness. And the UK is full of these people, minimum wage warriors fighting against their own social group on behalf of their rich bosses who would throw their employees on the scrap heap without a second thought. Why are the British like this? In truth, the British are deeply unhappy. So unhappy, in fact, that we don't believe we could live without this unhappiness. It's an unhappiness we bring on ourselves, that we are resigned to. It's an unhappiness that makes us happy. We don't want to get our revenge on those who make these laws, the ones who cause our unhappiness. We don't even give ourselves the satisfaction of rebelling against the spineless jobsworths who impose the will of their masters, our masters. Instead, what we choose to do is empty all of our frustration and bitterness on the next one down the line, that person with a little bit less power than we have. The bus driver is treated like dirt by his employer, but rather than stand up to his employer, he grumbles and walks away. He waits for those moments when he has a fragment of power, and then he dumps all that crap of bitterness and anger onto the teenage girl. And what about the policewoman, you may say? Surely she has some authority over the jobsworths. But no, she has none. To impose her will would show initiative, independent thinking. She would have to be an individual. And my guess is she doesn't know how to do that. What about the girl? In the end, the policewoman drove her home, an act of kindness to the girl, her family, but also to the bus driver. But really, what about the girl? She will remember this incident and all the similar ones before and after it. She will store them all away somewhere in her psyche, feeding the memories of them to her bitterness and frustration.
Can you let me on the bus? I need to get home. Why? Just open the door.
One day, in the not too distant future, she too will become a jobsworth. There really is no escape. Well, there is one. That is why I left the UK.